So now that we have completed that side quest in the last video that moved Malo Mart to Castletown, we're going to go check that out. So if you just want to skip ahead to the main quest, you can just skip ahead to the next video where we will continue working our way towards the next dungeon. Anyway, so as you teleport over here towards Castletown, you will be stopped by the postman as you run forward, and he has a letter for you from Malo, who is reminding you to check out the store's new location, as well as letting you know that they have a special offer on a cool item called the Magic Armor. Now, I actually do not have enough rupees right now to purchase it, so I will not be doing that at this time, but I will enter Malo Mart just to show off how the shop has changed and such. Now before, everything in the shop was crazy expensive and you couldn't even purchase anything because it was so overpriced. And it was very fancy and ritzy, and you couldn't even enter until you had your shoes shined just outside. There was a person that was sitting there that you had to pay to shine your shoes. The owner himself, Chudley, he was very rude to you, and he acted all like stuck up and arrogant. And I don't know, but you'd think that probably Jovani was the only one who could really buy anything anyway. Anyway, now that Malo Mart has been moved to Castletown, it actually takes the place of the older shop, which I don't really understand, because we only paid 200 rupees to move the shop. But it still has the previous owner, and he has actually changed his name from Chudley to Malver now, and he's no longer all arrogant and such. And the person outside, you know, he's no longer is all, yeah, you have to shine your shoes. Now he's all like happy and he'll let you right in. So Malver is all peppy and friendly, and the whole air inside the shop is very enthusiastic, and it's filled with bouncy music and people dancing. And it's strange because it's called Malo Mart, and you never actually see Malo here. I guess he's just the big dog who works behind the scenes, I guess. You can chat with Malver, and you can look over at the magic armor that was spoken of in the letter, and it actually was here before for a ridiculous price. It was just so, you know, you would never be able to buy it. But now it's actually been reduced to a much more reasonable price of 598 rupees. Unfortunately, I'm a little low on rupees at the moment, so I will return here later to snag it later on in the walkthrough. But you can grab it now if you like. You can go run around and gather rupees, then come back here and purchase it. You can chat with the other people in the building if you'd like. They all have humorous things to say. I like the one lady off to the left in particular. She says she doesn't really need anything, but she's going to buy everything just because it's so cheap she can't resist. So the items for sale in Malo Mart are very reasonable, so if you ever need arrows or bombs or potions, this is a great place to go, and it's convenient because it has a nearby warp portal. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff can be found in the overworld and such by killing enemies and slashing up bushes and stuff, but that can take a while, so it may be faster to even just, you know, go to Malo Mart and purchase it there. Next, go to the South Road and empty a bottle if you don't have one that's eligible right now, and then you can speak with the Goron, who has now opened up shop. There's a line of people here to get hot spring water, but for some reason Link can just cut right ahead, skipping in line. Odd. What a jerk. So this is the same dude who we helped out a moment ago, and he's now selling hot spring water. Now the first time is free, and thanks for helping him out before over on the West Bridge or whatnot. You know, bringing him that hot spring water from Gore Liggs. But now you will fill up an empty bottle for you for free, and with that in hand, you want to quickly run through the South Gate and start heading down towards South Hyrule Field. Now, if you now just remember that hot spring water cools very quickly, so you have to run like crazy, otherwise it will turn into regular water, and that would not be good. So if you headed this way before, you probably have seen the Goron who is staring dejectedly at the boulders leading to South Hyrule Field. I wish he couldn't do anything about it at the time. You can speak with him, and he'll realize you have hot spring water. Apparently, it has a very distinct smell to it. Agree to give it to him, and he'll once again give a very manly Goron cheer, and after that he'll start rolling into the boulders and telling you to come back in a little while. Now, it does take quite some time for him to break through, so don't worry about it right now. This will eventually lead to a nice shortcut, though at this point in the game it's kind of pointless. Also, I don't really think there's ever really a time from now on that you ever need to go through there, down to South Hyrule Field or vice versa, so it doesn't really make much difference. I mean, you know, you can teleport anywhere you want, really, for the most part, so, and you can't teleport to South Hyrule Field, so this shortcut doesn't really help you get anywhere any faster. Anyways, let's start heading up, and you can chat with Agatha along the way if you like, assuming it's still daylight out. And if you've been following the walkthrough thus far, you should have 21 out of 24 golden bugs collected. So we're almost there! Now, most likely, if you don't have quite that many, you did not get the snail in the Sacred Grove. But don't worry, though, we will be returning to the Sacred Grove later on in the game, and we will be able to warp there as well, so we will be able to get the other snail, or both of them if you have not gathered the one of them thus far. So next you want to head into Castletown and go over to East Road. So that's the next, that's the exit that is closest to the warp portal. And there's a large green tent, but I have yet to be there thus far in this walkthrough, but it has a minigame there where you gather shiny lights. Now, you could have tried it out before, but it's pretty difficult, especially if you're only jumping. You can't even get them all. I think it's actually impossible to do it just by jumping. But now that we have the claw shot, this game is actually made much easier, and it shouldn't cause you too much trouble. Now, there's 3 girls that are standing just outside the tent, named Kylie, Hannah, and Misha, and they are obsessed with the star game. So when you play it, you can actually see them just outside the grating, and they will scream as you collect the light orbs. Now you want to enter the green circus tent, and you'll see a short scene of Link meeting up with a conniving new character named Perlo. Now, if you saw his spirit as a wolf back when Twilight covered the land, you could actually hear him muttering about tricking people into losing at his game, which he tries to make impossible to win. So his trickery and sneaky nature is seen easily in the way he mutters about everything, and he's trying to take advantage of people. Interestingly, his clothes greatly resemble Tingle from the other Zelda titles that have that character. So I suppose that if Tingle were a more realistic person and not wishing to be a fairy, then he'd be a con artist. Is that what Nintendo is trying to say? Anyways, once Perlo is done explaining the game, you want to pay up, and you'll get put in the ring and start this minigame. The basic idea is to collect all the light orb thingies within the time limit. There's little platforms on the side that you can climb up to get some of them, but there are ones in midair that you're going to have to jump to in order to get. Unfortunately, you do not have enough time to grab them all this way, so it's a little misleading. You want to climb up and hop to the second platform, and you'll notice there's a very obvious line which leads across to the other side. You can use your claw shot to grab onto the grating on the opposite side and grab several orbs at once, and then continue climbing, and once you get to the next very obvious line of orbs, gather all those as well to easily complete this minigame within the time limit. You'll then appear back outside the ring with Perlo, who is appalled that you actually managed to complete his challenge, because he designed it to be impossible to beat, but somehow you managed to do it. After sputtering out some compliments and muttering under his breath, he'll give you a nice little upgrade in the big quiver, yay, which allows you to carry up to 60 arrows. That's double the amount you could hold before, and great for those of you out there who like to use the hero's bow like an Uzi. Gah! Perlo then goes on to say that he will make the next challenge specifically for you when you return here later, at a later time to do that. Back outside, you'll see Kylie, Hannah, and Misha, who will once again scream at the sight of you. These fangirls will scream excitedly and drop recovery hearts whenever you speak with them from now on. Kind of scary. Also, just a little note, those 3 girls are each wearing green, red, and blue, which could be a reference to the goddesses Din, Pharaoh, and Nehru. Next, we need to head over to Jovani's house, but in order to do that, we need to be a wolf. So go ahead and leave Castletown so that you can transform. And here in the video, it just turned night, and that is because in the previous chapter, when it turned day, I actually did the beginning of stuff in this chapter. So it was day, and I had to wait for the pose to come out anyways. So as long as it was day and I was waiting, I decided to do the side quest for this chapter. And then I went back, collected pose, and now I'm coming back here. So now we're continuing where we left off, and so that's why it's night now. Anyway, you want to run over to South Road and start heading west, and then when you get in this little alley, you'll come to this little building off in the corner, and there's a bunch of cats around here, so you can speak with them if you like, because now you're a wolf and you can talk to them. And then when you're done with that, you want to use your senses to see a speckly patch that is along the side of the house straight ahead, which you can dig through to enter the house, so just press down on your D-pad to do so. Now, we met Jovani before, and he asked us to bring him 20 souls, which should break the curse on him. You should have well over that if you've been following the walkthrough thus far, so go ahead and chat with him to partially break the curse that is on him. He'll wiggle around and yell triumphantly, "Hooray!" As a reward, he will give you your 4th and final bottle in the game, so which comes filled with great fairy's tears. Yay! He goes on to say that the curse hasn't been completely broken yet, so he jumps to the conclusion that maybe there's actually 60 ghosts. Right, like how did he come up with that number? Well, I feel like I have about 47% of my soul today. You must need to collect 31 more souls. Of course. After he's done musing, you can run over and speak with his cat, Jangle, who is no longer frozen atop Jovani's head. He thanks you for helping out and explains that he's the leader of the cats outside. What does that even mean anyway? Is he like their boss? Like a gang? We call ourselves the Cats. So that's everything we can do in here for now. We will be returning to get more prizes from Jovani. Unfortunately, we can only do that once we have a total of 60 souls. So you can continue collecting souls if you want. It's not really that important. So if you don't really want to do that, then you can just skip over all that. That was really the important thing, was the bottle, which will aid us a lot when we fill it up with, health and all that kind of stuff, so that you can drink potions and stuff later on. So that's everything we needed to do. Go ahead and leave Castletown, transform back into your Hylian form, and then head all the way over to Telma's bar to continue with our main quest. So just join me for the next video, and we will continue figuring out how to enter the Gerudo Desert in order to get to the next dungeon.